Captain C.A. Richardson here from FlatsClass YouTube. In this video, I want to show you some of the subtle differences between monofilament and braided fishing line and how you might want to utilize them. So many of us think that monofilament is a technology of the past. There's not really a need to use monofilament in inshore fishing. Well, here's a few applications where monofilament really comes in handy, whether you're using a bait casting reel or if you're using a spinning reel. I like to use it so that I don't pull or bend hooks out. So when I'm trout fishing or I'm fishing with a lighter wire hook or smaller treble hooks, monofilament comes in very handy and is a better tool than braid that's going to open those hooks up, pull the hooks from the fish. There's a medley of reasons that can go wrong with using braid with very small, delicate hooks. Mono really combats that, and I'll give you a few examples. You see this light wire football jig, very thin wire, and it could be bent out easily if I were on braid with a medium heavy action rod. But with monofilament, it's perfect. It's ideal. I get good hook penetration, a small hole, perfect for catching trout. Here's a little tube bait that I might use in association with that. Here's a small crankbait that I like to use a lot. It's got very fine wire hooks on it. I'm looking to strike fish and be able to pull them to the boat. Again, I won't pull the hooks. I won't open them up. I won't even pull these delicate little split rings off because I'm using monofilament. Always think delicate, gentle, use monofilament. Here's a few mirror lures that have like a size 7 and a size 6 treble on them. Anytime I'm using size 6, size 7, fine wire trebles, or even some of these fine wire jigs, I'm always going to use monofilament. Now braid, this is what we rely on day in and day out, and 80% of the time this is what I'm throwing, whether it be on casting reels or on spinning reels. The reason you like to use braid is there's no stretch, there's sensitivity, and you can drive the hook home, especially on species like redfish that have a very hard mouth or tarpon. So you're going to be using or utilizing braid when you're fishing larger hook diameters, larger wire diameters, heavier hooks, and larger treble hooks. Texas rigging, all these are going to be excellent choices to utilize the braid. Now let me give you a few examples. I've got a spoon here. You can see the heavier gauge wire. I've got a heavier gauge jig here with a heavier jig head. Something where you're going to have to drive it into the hard mouth of a redfish. You've got to have zero stretch. You've got to have that sensitivity. Here I've got a Catch 2000 with some chunkier style treble hooks on it. These are perfect for using with braid. I wouldn't use this with mono. It'd be a lot more difficult to drive the hook home. And then of course, if you're fishing any of the Texas style, Texas rigging with these rigging hooks, this is a mustad grip pin. It's a very robust hook where there could be, the gap could get compromised by the plastic itself, and it's a heavier gauge wire. You must use braid. These are the better choices for braid. So now you understand the differences between the braid and the mono applications. Well, I'm really hoping that this little video cleared up some of the differences between monofilament and braid. For now, Captain C.A. Richardson signing off from FlatsClass YouTube.